Consider me a fan of yodel metal now.
Right? That's what I said.
Because
I
what the
saw that,
hell?
I was like, I said, what? What are we, what is this? And I clicked on it and I said, shut up. I don't know what this is, but I love it. I love it.
And I feel like you can't not
Do the motions. It's
do the
like
motions.
your shoulders just.
My body was speaking to me. It was out of my control at that point. It was out of my
body
control.
was speaking to me.
It was. So what are we talking about today?
So we are going to be discussing the Ohio House of Horrors, which is a severe child abuse case that recently came up at the end of June, where 16 children, I say children, one of them was 18, were found severely neglected and malnourished and abused in a house with the mother, father, and the grandmother and grandfather.
Now, this case, just for all listeners and watchers, this is still ongoing. These arrests just happened on June 30th, so they have not made it to trial. A lot of what we say, we did try to verify the actual facts that we have, but a lot of
it is still speculation.
Yes, it's a lot of speculation. A lot of allegedlys are going to be said in this episode. This case is I would say a trigger warning as well, even just based on the little info that the public does have. It's horrible. It made me sick to my stomach just reading more and more on it, seeing the photos of the condition that the children were living in. It's awful. So just big trigger warning before we start diving into everything as well.
Yeah. And this is mostly, we're going to tell you what we can verify, what we can, and just mostly it's just our thoughts and discussions on what we think about what's actually happening, because some of this stuff doesn't really add up. It does, but it doesn't. It's kind of weird in a weird way.
Yes, and there's just a whole lot of sketch. Some of the math isn't mathing. I have my theories on Elizabeth, the wife, in general. I have my theories on the grandparents. So yeah, a lot of this is going to be our thoughts and opinions based as well. So let's dive right in. So kind of a brief timeline of what has happened so far. We can start with that.
Yeah, or actually if you want to start with the alleged abusers.
Yes.
Who were they?
Who were they? So we've got, and we'll insert photos throughout the episode here as well.
Yeah.
So we've got Gary Siders Sr. He is 73 years old. He is the grandfather of all of the children that were found within the home. We have Christina Siders. She is 67 years old, and she is the grandmother of all the children. Gary Siders Jr., he is 36 years old, and he is allegedly the father of all of the children. Mm-hmm. And Elizabeth Siders is the wife of Gary Siders Jr. She is 33 years old, and she is allegedly the mother of all 16 children. I do believe they are in the process of having like formal DNA testing done to confirm that they are all her kids. So that is why we say allegedly with all of those.
Yeah, it can't be verified yet. And just to note too, the oldest child was 18, but due to conditions and them not being in school and educated in poverty, they're saying she has the mental capacity of a child. So even though she's 18, they're still treating her as a minor. And I think the youngest is a year and a half.
A year and a half. The ages range from a year and a half to 18. And the sheriffs and prosecutor and attorney general had said during the first press conference that all of the children, to quote them directly, he used the words almost feral when describing the children.
Yeah.
And I don't think he meant it in a bad way. He described that they were very developmentally behind.
And not and unsocialized.
Yes,
You know,
completely
like almost like a feral
unsocialized.
cat would be unsocialized. So
Yes. I think from what I've read, like a lot of them couldn't write their name or couldn't say their name.
yeah, I think a
Uh,
couple were nonverbal, and some
yes.
were in such bad condition I think two of them had to be life flighted out to the nearest trauma center.
Yep, I believe, and I'm just gonna I believe it was the 1.5-year-old that actually had to be placed on a ventilator. Don't
Oh, that's
direct
terrible.
quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that
Yeah,
the
I heard
youngest
that there was one
had.
on a ventilator. I didn't know which one though.
Yeah,
Mm,
which, that alone, before we show you guys the photos of the inside of the home should tell you just how deplorable and disgusting the conditions were that they were living in. And to also note, 16 kids ranging from a year and a half old to 18 were being kept in a 12 by 12 space.
yeah,
So just imagine that, 12 feet by 12 feet.
and then you've got the four adults too.
Yeah.
So
And the
20 people.
house, if you look at it too, the interior and the exterior, the house itself is tiny. And that
Yeah.
many children living and being kept in that small of a room is just, it's
And
awful.
and and this is my brain kind of going off on a tangent, like ADHD to the max.
Mhm.
If the livable space in that house is only 12 by 12, how is she getting pregnant?
No, so the 12 by 12 is just the room
Oh,
that the kids were staying in. Yes, yes, yes.
okay. I
But
got I, I got real nervous. I was like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what are
No,
we doing? What are we
that
doing?
is just the room that they were found in, and they believe they were being kept in for obviously long
Gotcha.
periods of time. That said though, the
That
house is
doesn't
still very small.
Yeah, it does make me feel a little bit better though, because I'm
Yeah.
thinking all 20
Where's
of
she
them
getting pregnant?
in a 12 by 12 space.
Yeah.
No wonder
Mm,
y'all getting arrested for abuse.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, and the photos of the interior, the prosecutor and the attorney general had said in the press conference that there were buckets of feces everywhere in their room and throughout the house. It had a strong odor of cat urine all throughout the house. There was just literally piles and piles of trash and moldy clothing and just not livable conditions for an animal, much
Yeah.
less.
And yeah, and you've got your kids in that.
Yeah,
In which I
yeah.
understand that poverty sucks. It really
Poverty
does.
happens.
But that's not an excuse to live in squalor. Like if you
Yeah,
got to go to the bathroom, I would step outside before I would have it in the place that I have to live in.
exactly.
That's just my thoughts. You know what I mean? Like that's not an excuse for squalor.
No, no, I totally agree. Um, the kind of a direct quote from the sheriffs and the prosecutor during that initial press conference on the 30th was he just described it to be deplorable. One of them actually said that he was unable to get the smell out of his nose uh,
Mhm.
after the fact because it was just so potent and bad. Um, what's kind of wild too is they had no idea that they were about to walk in on 16 kids living in that home.
No, no, that's not what uh, uh, the search warrant was for. And it
Yeah,
just happened that they happened to find them, and luckily they did, because I mean, if the condition of your children is bad enough that they've got to be placed on a ventilator, brother, time was against them.
exactly. I mean, it's hard telling what could have happened had they not found them
Even
right
a day
when they
later,
did. Yes.
even a day later.
Yeah. Um, so the arrest warrant they were actually executing, and just for note here, the home that they lived in was in Hamden, Ohio, which is Vinton County.
Hmm.
They were executing an arrest warrant on Gary Siders Jr., which again is the father of all 16 kids allegedly, um, for 4 counts of public indecency. Uh, he will not even have a court hearing for those charges specifically until August. But it's just kind of wild to me that the police had absolutely no idea that 16 kids were going to be like that any kids were going to be in that
Yeah,
home.
yeah.
Um, what's also just kind of peculiar, just kind of like looking at this case at face value,
Hmm.
my first thought was, how did like their neighbors or anyone around them not know that they had that many kids living
Yeah.
within the house? Like, then I started asking, okay, were all of those kids born in the house, or were they born at hospitals, which we can talk about later because we did
Hmm.
find the answers to that. But I feel like I have questions for like everyone that it lives around them.
Well,
I
I did see so I watch another a YouTube channel, and the lady Anjanette Levy, she actually went to the house as like a reporter and stood outside. She couldn't get to the house because it was still roped off, but there was like, people driving up and down the road, and she would stop them and she'd be like, "Hey, are you from here? What are you doing here?" And she showed where the house is. Like, it's pretty secluded. Like, you can see it from the road, but on each side, it's like got brush growed up taller than the house. So you can't see the houses on either side. You can only see it from directly in front of the house. And the neighbors were like, even we never, she said, I seen kids there one time. And she said, as soon as they see a car come by, they ran and hid.
right.
So it's like they were conditioned or trained. Hey,
Don't let the
nobody
public
needs to know
see
you're
you.
here. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I also, once my brain started like kind of spiraling into that of, okay, where were the neighbors? How did no one know that all of these kids were here? I looked it up, and the houses in Hamden, Ohio, they have a total population of 727. So it's a very small
Very small. Yeah.
rural area. And this just was like a random fact when looking up Hamden, Ohio. Aside from the population, the median income is less than $30,000 a year. So I feel like it's
That's,
also a very poverty stricken
yeah.
area. And I don't know if that's relevant to like how did no one know, but at the same time, in that poverty stricken of an area, it makes me wonder, like, even if someone did say or think or do something, did they have the resources to be able to do
Yeah.
anything? I feel like that kind of poses a question too.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely. Um, we do know that Elizabeth and Gary Siders Jr. got married when Elizabeth was only 15.
yes.
So, and I
Yes.
think it was at West Virginia they had to go to
Yeah,
get married
so
there.
from what I've seen, and we can say allegedly here as well.
Yeah.
So they met when she was around 12 or 13 years old. She kept running away from home. So eventually she had her family sign emancipation documents when she was 15, and then her and Gary Siders Jr., who was 18 and she was 15, went over to West Virginia and got married because they could not legally do so in Ohio. But
Yeah.
she was only 15 years old and he was 18.
And then
Um,
she had her first child shortly after that.
yep,
So at 15 years old.
15 years old. And this is allegedly too, it's alleged that she actually had a child prior to her and Gary's marriage that passed, that did not make it when she was around 13 years old. Again, this is alleged and this is speculation. And it also said that allegedly Gary was not the father of that child. But if that is true, then that, I feel like that just adds to the count of
Yeah.
how many children this woman has had. Um,
And to be only 33 and you
and to have that many a kid, and that kind of leads us into just the insanity of what this woman's body has went through in a matter of 20 years.
yeah.
We actually broke down the timeline after looking up birth records and such. So to give you guys kind of a scope, Gary and Elizabeth had their first child in 2008.
Mhm.
Uh, then they had their second in 2009, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2016, 2017, 2019, 2020. In 2022, they had their first set of twins. In November, just 11 months later, or no, 9 months later, in 2022, they had their second set of twins that were born conjoined, and they only lived for about an hour. Um, they
Yeah.
were born conjoined, and they were conjoined like chest wall to chest wall and face to face. So their record actually showed that they passed of respiratory failure.
Yeah.
So they had two sets of twins in the year of 2022. In 2024, they had their third set of twins. And then in 2025, they had their last set of twins.
So this
So,
woman has verifiably given birth to 18 children,
yes.
16 living.
Yep. 18 total. Possibly 19 if it is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My body has given birth to 3 and I can't recover from that. And that was 10 years ago. I can't imagine what her body is.
Well, and I just have so many questions like surrounding this because I did some digging. So 11 of the children were born at Holzer Medical Center in Ohio.
Mhm.
A few of the twins were born at Oh Blessness Health in Ohio, and the conjoined twins were born at Riverside. So, based on that info, all or most of these children were born in medical centers. So
Yeah.
then my mind goes to, how did no one raise concerns about a woman who is getting pregnant that fast, back to back to back? How were no concerns raised about postpartum depression? Were they going to postpartum appointments or pre-birth appointments? Like, how
Yeah,
were these?
but at the same time, you have to kind of think though that's HIPAA. Even
It
if they would
is.
have noticed something, they couldn't have said anything.
They can if the laws are. eh,
Yeah.
they can if they believe that there is harm being done,
Yeah, but at
from what
that
I
point, they
understand.
didn't have probable cause for harm being done. There was no evidence that there was harm. So legally, they can't say
They can't
anything.
say
Now,
anything.
if they would have seen bruises on her, if they would have seen the children being neglected, like maybe she never brought any of the other children with her.
Yeah. Well, and
So,
it makes me wonder too, did she never bring him in for postpart, like, you know,
yeah,
aftercare?
yeah.
Were they ever vaccinated? And if they didn't, then no one would have had any kids to see to raise
Yeah.
concern. It does make me wonder, like, were the nurses, were her medical teams at each birth, did they have concerns, but they were just bound by HIPAA that they could not really do or say anything?
Yeah, and I mean, and maybe they did say something to her, you know, "Hey, you can't
Your
keep
body
doing this.
is
You've got to stop." And she
yeah.
just doesn't, you know what I mean? So I don't it could go either way. You never know. But there's a lot of red flags you got to jump through, or red or hoops you got to jump through when it comes to HIPAA.
A lot of red tape.
That's what I was trying to say, red tape, not red flags and hoops. You know what I was trying to
I knew what
say.
you meant. Yes. It is when you think about that though, number 1, it's wild, but number 2,
Mm.
to me, it's sad because, say something, say because one of my theories is, was she being kind of forced to
Or
have all
even
these children?
not force, but what's the word? Not
Almost like groomed to
that's the word I was looking for. I was thinking like, well, what if it was? That's the word I was looking. Groomed.
well, like, was she groomed to just keep doing this? You know,
Yeah. Was it
what
a religious thing? Because you know there
was it
are
a
some
religious thing?
religions that don't believe in birth control of any kind.
Yes. Yeah. Was it you know, uh, like trying to abuse like state funding and SNAP and things like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like that was another theory of mine. It's there's a lot of theories and speculation going around
Yeah.
all over social media right now about this case.
Well, I did see that the only people that were receiving any kind of welfare were the grandparents.
The grandparents.
This Gary Senior and Christina were the only ones that were receiving any kind of benefits from anywhere.
Yeah. Which
So
then it's got to be something else.
it has to be. It has to be
Yeah.
some kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe he was just kinky. I don't. I don't know what the answer is, but brother.
Well, and to just circle back to being pregnant back to back, I cannot imagine what her body has went through, number 1, especially with multiple sets of twins back to back.
Yeah.
What kind of postpartum depression she has probably went through with no help, no resources, no nothing. You would have to. That kind of like back and forth with hormones, there's no way that she hasn't.
And her body did not have time to recover. Maybe
No.
she didn't have postpartum because she never was postpartum. She was immediately pregnant again afterward.
Well, and
I
that's what
don't.
I wrote down too, like the longest time between births was 2 years and a day. The shortest time between births
Mhm.
was 9 months and 2 days. So really think about that. I mean, that is
That
insane.
that means a week after she had a baby, she was pregnant again.
Yeah,
There's something. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't.
I don't either. There's something weird.
It's very weird.
The red flags are red flagging for me because of a lot
Yeah,
of these facts, you
lots.
know.
I don't. You wouldn't think it would be. And that's just coming from a woman and a mother who's had multiple kids.
Mhm.
That can't be her doing. Like, can
That's
it?
that's how I feel.
Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just my thoughts. I've been through it though. You know what I mean? My girls are 18 months apart, like
Mhm.
almost to the day, 18 months apart. And so I could not imagine. I could not.
And
Like
I only
that's
have one child, and I just don't see a woman who is of right mind how they would choose that
yeah.
over and over and over. And you got to think too, they had to bury two of their kids and then turned around and got pregnant with another set. Like I just don't
I
thinking thinking to the like just the mental health aspect of it alone that
Yeah.
she has had to endure, I do not see how she could have willfully continued to keep having children like this.
I
I could be
wonder
off.
because why would she get pregnant so close to after having a baby, but then other times, like 2 years?
Yeah,
Are How many miscarriages did she have because her body just couldn't?
that was one of my other questions that I wrote in my note. Were there moments in between all of these births where she was pregnant again and she just miscarried? Was there really a 2-year and 1-day gap? Or did she
Yeah.
just not successfully carry? Like, how much do we not know?
Yeah. And that's something we may never know because again, that's
Yeah,
medical information. But then
medico
still
and
you'd have to, why was there a 2-year gap? Like was there something medically wrong, or
or
I
did
don't
she have a
know.
child off the books and something happened?
Part of me wants to say these can't all be her kids. What if it's some kind of weird trafficking cult ring? You know what I mean? I don't. Now
It could
there's no
be.
evidence for that.
There's
There's
not.
zero evidence for that. But
These are
that's where
just
my
our
brain's going.
theories.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's where my
these are
brain's
just our
going.
theories. That
Because
was something I
18
questioned
kids,
too.
I can't. I don't even think, how is that even possible? How is that physically possible for a healthy human being to produce that many children? And there's no recovery time. Your body does not have time to heal in between. It To me it just doesn't seem possible.
No,
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't understand it. And I truly don't understand how a woman would willfully do that. And that's I feel like that's why I feel so strongly that something weird was going on within that house, and I don't
Mhm.
think that Elizabeth was like fully consenting to any of this.
I don't
Again,
either. Yeah, and I don't know if it
opinions.
was I don't know if it was like a forced situation or she just maybe wasn't happy with it and went along with it anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Yep.
don't know, but it don't sit right with me. It don't.
It doesn't. And if you notice their mug shots, and I feel like, I don't know, I like to think that I'm good at, just kind of reading a picture, looking into
Mhm.
someone's eyes, like really trying to. And
Yeah.
I'm sitting here right now, even just on my screen, I have their mug shots pulled up. And the difference that I see between her and the grandparents and Gary Jr., just the look in their eyes, something is off.
She
My
looks
gut
dead.
feeling. She looks
She
dead.
she looks like she has no soul.
Yeah. And it's not in a, I don't get like an evil
No, 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 no,
v-
no.
from her. I get I am so fucking drained from what I have went through for the past 20 years, and I
Like
don't know.
yeah,
I have nothing
like
left is what
yeah,
she looks like.
she turned everything off. She just turned it off and doesn't feel anything. That's the look that she has in her eyes.
Yes. Yeah. And Gary Sr., he looks evil to me. Um and even Christina. I feel like
Did
even
you
she.
did you see the photos of Gary Sr. and Christina? That was, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago.
I don't
It
think
was several.
so.
I'll have to see if I can find it. Um, but it showed like a photo that they had posted on Facebook, and they looked completely normal. Like they looked 30 years younger, and it was only supposed to be like a few years prior. But they were clean. They were dressed nice. She was wearing makeup, and they were just sitting on their porch at home. The yard looked nice. The house looked nice. They
That
looked
is
like
so
a
weird.
complete. And so it makes you like, what happened? What
What
happened?
switch went off that would lead
Yeah.
to this?
Yeah. Like I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know.
Hmm. I do. I feel like I have so many potential theories. And
Yeah.
I feel like everyone is like that right now as
Yeah.
this, continues to kind of unfold. And I mean,
Mhm.
it's making national news because it's wild. I
Wild.
mean, it's wild.
Um,
Um,
did you hear the rumor that Elizabeth is potentially pregnant now?
I have seen that on multiple social media posts and little news outlets. It's not
Yeah.
confirmed.
No.
So that is alleged too, but yeah. Could you imagine?
Oh, I could not. But like I told you earlier, I do have a video clip to show you that I'm going to get your initial reaction on. But before we
Mhm.
go to that, just want to point out Elizabeth's brother.
Mm,
His posts. We're talking about, was it forced? Was she groomed or whatever? And her
yep.
brother Jeremy actually posted on June 30th, so the day that they were arrested. He posted on Facebook, and this is just paraphrasing, that his sister just wrapped her life up due to indoctrination. It is 100% real. So, as far as I can tell, when she left and married Gary Siders Jr.,
Yep.
she pretty much, for the most part, went no contact with the rest of her family.
Yep.
Um, and her brother also made another post, and it was just talking about how low IQ people, that it's not what they're saying that it is. Like, he made it seem like it's not a case of abuse and neglect. It's just low IQ people, essentially ignorance, not
Mhm.
knowing what they're doing. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Family knows something.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I think that there is a lot of mouths staying closed,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that there are more people that very easily could have stepped in and helped those kids and chose not to, is what I
Yeah.
think, which is really
Yeah.
sad because, now, despite that kind of filth and living is all they know, they're all now wards of the state. And it's
Yeah.
hard telling where those babies will end up.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking, you know?
Yeah. I
I
will note too that there was, in one of his posts, her brother Jeremy also said, he said 20 kids in at 33 years old is wild. Now,
Where'd the other two come from?
where the other two come from? Because we know of
Mhm.
18, possibly 19,
Yep.
if the one when she was 13, if that rumor is true.
Yep.
So what he knows, what he knows,
What does
what
he
you
know?
know, Jeremy, what you know.
Well, and it makes me wonder too, like, are investigators digging into that? And we will find out, once the trials
Yeah.
happen. Now, since June 30th, so when they were arrested, they were all given 16 counts of child endangerment and placed on a $300,000 bond for each one of them.
Mhm. Uh,
Um,
didn't it originally say they were originally charged with 17 counts, but then it was later changed to 16 counts?
I didn't I didn't see that, but
I've seen several interviews where they said originally it was 17 counts, but then was dropped to 16 counts. Now, was that just like an error, like we counted wrong because it was crazy and we messed up, or is
mm,
there a reason why would there be 17 unless they weren't sure if Elizabeth was considered a victim?
that could be. That
17 counts.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that makes me wanna go down another rabbit hole.
Yeah, right.
So they were each given a $300,000 bond. Then Gary Gary Siders Sr.'s attorney filed with the courts stating that Gary Sr. had a series of very serious health conditions and eventually got it granted. His bond became a recognizance bond,
Hmm.
which means he does not have to pay it and He was released from the jail's custody and is currently at a medical center.
Hmm.
A lot of people have had a lot of opinions on that, which frankly I do too. But at the same time, I honestly think it was just a matter of the county and the state did not want to pay his medical bills,
Yeah, oh
so
yeah, and
they released
from
him.
what the attorney said, that they wouldn't be able, his medical bills alone would bankrupt the county.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's all it will be, because they said too, he will be placed on GPS monitoring and all of the
Yeah.
things. So I don't really have a whole lot of opinions on that. But before we started recording, um, I had pulled up an article that was just written about 15 hours ago,
Hmm.
and it says, and I've still got it right here, that Gary Siders Jr.'s attorney filed a motion Friday, which was yesterday at the time of this recording,
Hmm.
asked the court to order a psychiatric competency evaluation. Roberts also asked the court to seal the motion, arguing that it concerns Siders' current mental condition and contains highly sensitive mental health information. So, what does that mean? Essentially, if he is found to be incompetent to stand trial, if a judge rules that, the case would likely be paused, not dismissed. Under Ohio law, a defendant must understand the charges against them and to be able to assist in their own defense before a trial can proceed. A finding of incompetency typically results in treatment, often at a state psychiatric facility, aimed at restoring competency through medication, education, etc., etc. Um, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know how to take that one. Now, Gary Senior, I could see that, because if you like, there was a video released of them whenever, I think it was during when the judge was reading them their, they were at the jail. The judge
Yeah,
was reading them, this is what was being brought against you. And Gary Senior just, he looked senile. He looked like somebody that had dementia.
he did. He looked
Like,
like lights were on, no one was home.
yeah, no one was home. So for him, I could see that he needs an evaluation, because I don't think he understands what world he's in right now, much less understand what's happening.
Same.
Gary Jr., I don't know. I feel like that's a cop out. I'm not gonna lie.
I think I
I
think
feel
so
like it's a
too.
cop out.
I think they're trying to okey doke the system, and I don't like that because 16 kids need,
You got enough brain power to make that many kids, but you can't.
but you can't understand your charges that are being brought against you.
Yeah,
I call
yeah,
bull
yeah.
shnikes.
Unless, I mean, and he did say that it was his mental health.
Correct.
So what if he's got some kind of manic depressive schizophrenic type situation going on, and that's what they're seeing, and they're like, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, if it comes out that that is what is going on with him, I obviously think that changes things slightly.
Yeah. A little.
However, just like you said, you were competent enough to make these kids and
Yeah.
somewhat care for them.
I
So
mean, they were alive.
what changed since you got
Yeah.
arrested is what I just keep going back to. I don't know.
Yeah.
It almost makes me feel like they're just trying to okey doke the system and not avoid accountability, because there's going to be accountability
Oh, yeah.
regardless.
Yeah.
Just the severity of that
Yeah.
accountability, I think would be altered significantly
Mhm. Yeah.
if that ruling happens.
And two, I just, it almost makes you wonder, maybe he does have something like that going on, and Elizabeth has been the one that's keeping things going, because
Yeah.
even her attorney said the first words out of her mouth was not, how long am I going to be here for? It's, where are my kids? Like, she
Where are my
was
kids?
legitimately worried about her kids.
Yep.
Um in which now might be a good time to let me see, pull up this video. I don't know. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
There's no sound. I took the sound off of it. This is from Law and Crime YouTube channel, Crime Fix,
Okay.
with Anjanette Levy. And this is just the video of them taking them out of the van and taking them into the jail. Obviously, we have Gary Siders Sr. here. He can't walk.
Mm-hmm.
They had to put him in a wheelchair. But if you notice, he's still got handcuffs on his hands. Even though he's
Yep.
in a wheelchair, can't walk, he's in handcuffs. So he gets wheeled out. Next comes Gary Siders Jr., who is also, you're going to notice, handcuffed. I think he's even got ankle cuffs on
I
too,
was gonna
if I'm
say
not
it looks
mistaken.
like he's shackled at the ankles.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep, he is.
And he's got the waist cuffs. He's got all that on.
Yep.
And take them into the jail. But I mean, you can just see here the condition that Gary Senior's in. Like he looks like
very
a frail, fragile dementia patient.
He does.
Somebody that should be in a nursing home that can't care for themselves.
Yeah.
And that just gives you a better look. I mean, he's chained. He's got the waist chains, the feet chains, the hand chains. Even this old man that can't go nowhere, he's in a wheelchair with handcuffs on.
Yeah.
So then we're going to fast forward a little bit to where they're just checking them out in the jail. We're going to go forward. We're going to go forward. Okay. Here we have, this is Christina, the grandmother. She's got her paperwork. She's got her hands. I'm going to pause right here. Her hands are cuffed. Her feet are not cuffed, but her hands are still cuffed. Okay, this old 70-something-year-old woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at Elizabeth coming around the back of the van. No handcuffs, no feet cuffs, no nothing. Just carrying her paperwork. You would think of all people, she's the youngest.
She would be the one to be cuffed.
But she's the only one not cuffed. Now, is that because they think she's a victim? Or is it, which if she is a victim, then why would they be processing her into jail?
Right.
2, is it because she's pregnant?
That was my first thought.
Yeah.
That was my first thought as soon as you pointed it out that she was not cuffed, because they oftentimes do not cuff pregnant women in jails and prisons.
And I mean, and just look at her demeanor though. She is like cowering. Look at her. Like, doesn't want to look at anybody. She does. Even the 70-something-year-old woman's just standing there fine, but she's like, she's got the shrunken down.
You can tell just by her body language. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but she looks
too meek and afraid.
Yes. Yep.
So there's something weird there. And I would have to assume it's because maybe she is pregnant, because I've never seen
that video.
If they thought she was
interesting.
If they thought she was a victim, then wouldn't she be processed at a hospital and not in jail? Is my only thought. I don't know though.
Well, no, if she was a victim and they thought that from the beginning, she never would have even had these charges pressed against her to begin with, if that's truly what the investigators thought.
Yeah. Unless it's it's got like a duality, like she's the indoctrination or the grooming, and she is guilty, but it's one of those, it's not her fault. Almost like like manslaughter. Like, yeah, you killed somebody, you hit them with a car, and they're just using
her more as a witness than anything in the case.
That's, I don't know. There's just something weird there. There's just something weird there. But that's
very weird, because the other 3 are very clearly contained and cuffed.
I mean, they've got a 70-something-year-old man in a wheelchair cuffed, and he can't even stand up.
He can't even stand up. He looked like he was on a totally different planet, much less, capable of being combative or anything. That's the first time I've not even seen like a snippet of that.
I saw that and I was like, that's weird. That's weird. Why? Hmm.
I have so many questions now because I mean, truly, because it could mean several different things. It could mean that they're just using her as a witness more than anything now. It could mean that she's pregnant. It could mean a lot. I wonder if like a lot of other people have noticed that.
I don't know. I don't know, but just her whole demeanor while she's standing there, like you,
Totally different.
yeah, that's somebody that's been through some stuff. And I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, if you've had anywhere from
18.
18 to 20 kids, then
Yeah.
yeah, you've been through some stuff. But
Right.
she looks like
She almost looks
terrified.
like a for lack of better, almost like a battered wife. Like
She does.
just
Yep.
curled up and caged in and won't make eye contact.
Mm-hmm. 100%. She really does.
And then that just kind of circles us back to I just think that there was something so weird and sketchy going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something
And
more than what it's being painted to be.
I don't know. I don't know. I definitely think Gary Jr. had some weird something. I don't know if it was like
I
a
think so
cult,
too.
some kind of weird belief. Was it like some kind of weird kink thing where he just like babies and pregnant women? I don't know. Is it a trafficking? I don't know. Something's
Yeah,
going on with him. I feel like he's the orchestrator here.
I think so too.
Now, what did the parents have to do with it? That I don't know.
So I think I agree with the Gary Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Something is telling me that Christina was somehow more involved in whatever it is that was going on as well. And I don't know why. I don't really have a reason for why I feel that way. I feel like her demeanor just in that video alone, her demeanor during the video where they're being read their charges, their initial hearing that we were able
Yeah.
to see, even just her mugshot, something just tells me I don't know, and I could be totally off. You know, my gut feeling could be totally wrong, but that's what I'm theorizing, that something between Gary Jr. and Christina, something weird. They
Is
conspired for all of it.
Yep, I'm fixing to upload another photo. This is the photo of Gary and Christina from 2023, 3 years ago.
Let me pull it up.
Check that out. And then you look at their mugshots to now and tell me what happened in 3 years that they went from that.
They look totally normal.
That's what I'm
Like
saying.
two totally normal old folks.
Clean. They look 20 years younger.
They do. Especially Gary Sr.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he's lights are off, no one's home
Yeah.
at all. And I mean, really, even Christina, she looks totally different than what she does in her mugshot.
I know. And that's what
So
I'm
what
saying.
the
Like,
hell happened in a matter of 3 years for
yeah.
well then it makes you wonder too, like is are substances at play here? Or
That was my thought. What if that but if that was because like I said before, you said, the 4 counts of indecent exposure came up. I
yes.
saw one of the attorneys, I think it was Gary Sider Sr., his attorney said that he does not think that's what the search warrant they were executing was for. Now, that's not verifiable because the gag order's been placed on it. Nobody
Mhm.
can verify that. But he doesn't think that that's what the original search warrant was for. What if, because indecent exposure, yes, it's a bad thing, but it doesn't warrant. It's an arrest warrant, not a search warrant. So he thinks that there was something else happened that they were going in to search the house for. What if it was a drug related charge? They were going in
Mm.
looking for drugs. If you look at like around not Christina, Elizabeth's eyes, very
It's like
red.
very pink and red, yeah.
Now was could drugs have been? involved with all of them? Because, I mean, that's the only thing that I could think of that would cause that much aging in that short of time, and it would kind of
Oh, for sure.
explain the whole situation.
Yeah.
Like, before they moved to Vinton County
Mhm.
in Ohio, they lived, and I cannot remember, it was like one county over. I can't remember the other county.
It was, yes.
It was like 4 years ago, I think.
Yep.
And they lived there, and they kept getting truancy notices for the older kids because they weren't going to school. From like 2021, they never went to school.
Yep.
So they kept getting truancy notices, and then they finally came up that they were undeliverable because they couldn't find them. They couldn't find Elizabeth. They couldn't find Gary Jr. And then that's when they moved. So that was kind of some of the speculation of how they ended up in Vinton County, was because they were running from those warrants of truancy.
Well, and
I don't
they
know.
said during one of the press conferences too, I think it was the attorney general that had stated the Siders family in general has been really good at being unnoticed for the
Yeah.
past decade. Uh, and
Yeah.
I
How
mean,
could you have
really,
18 kids and be unnoticed? Like, let's be so for real right now.
well, and never have any sort of from public knowledge up to this point, any sort of DCS or CPS any sort of child service related case,
Mm-hmm. I think
which
it
is
said they did
strange to
have
me.
one CPS case against them.
That I couldn't find anything that was verifiable, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, it was just speculation. It's what I heard.
But I saw a Facebook post stating that it was a possibility that they have had one. So then it makes you wonder, okay, well, what happened with that?
Yeah.
And
And why
when
was it
did that
not carried
happen?
out?
And why was it not carried out? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know if there was any truth to that as well. It's all very, I don't know. But we've said it a million times throughout the episode that just something weird had to be going on. Something
I
weird, something strange, something.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is the type of stuff the documentaries are made about. And
Oh yeah, this is going to be a good one.
I feel like that's where it's going to end up landing. I think
Mhm.
this is so much bigger than just, and you can't even say just 16
Yeah.
child endangerment charges. I think it's
Yeah.
going to end up being so much bigger than that. I I am very curious. Say that Elizabeth is pregnant. I'm very curious to see how they would handle it and what would happen from here on, including with the trial if she is pregnant.
Yeah. I do know, I think it was her attorney requested a modification to her bond.
He did.
I don't I
Yes.
don't I don't know the specifics on that.
I didn't have anything wrote down about. I just had briefly read an article that he had filed a motion
Mhm.
for it.
But again, why would they try to modify her bond if there's not
If there's not something else that we don't know.
exactly? And then they
Yeah.
put a gag order on it.
So not
So,
a single one of them can say anything about it until it goes in front of a grand jury.
yep.
I am so curious to see where this goes, and just for the watchers and listeners, we do plan to keep up with this case as it progresses. It is our hope that when we do the next episode, a lot of the speculation can maybe become verified
Mhm.
as the trial progresses. I'm very curious to see how it ends up with Gary Jr. and whether or not he's deemed to be competent and how that turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's also kind of interesting just to see because this is becoming such a huge deal already. I'm interested to see everyone else's kind of theories and speculation as it all
Yeah.
unfolds because there's a lot out there already.
Yeah, there is.
So,
Do you know, in my gut, I really feel like this is some kind of weird belief, or maybe not cult, but like, I
Just
don't know.
something like cult like.
Yes, very cult like. Like Gary Jr.'s got some kind of weird belief or idea. And I feel like he's just executing that on the whole, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what it is. But I don't
And
feel like Elizabeth is on board.
no, I don't think she's willfully been a part of this at all.
Mm-mm.
Maybe, forced, maybe not be the word, but I don't think that she
Coerced,
has.
more like she's been groomed and convinced,
Yep.
indoctrinated, as her brother might have
And
said.
possibly drugged. Like, think about it. What if she has been being drugged this entire time so that she was easily groomable?
And if that's the case, why does Gary want all these kids?
Precisely.
What are you doing with these kids, Gary?
Yep. Obviously not much because they are so developmentally behind. They are not educated. So you're not doing like normal parent things. So what
Yeah.
is it? What was your end game? What is your goal with all of these children?
Mhm. And I don't know, again, speculation, nothing verifiable, but they also said that the older kids, like the 15 and the 18-year-old, that they actually had social media. They had phones and they had social media pages and they were making posts on social media. But there was no photos of them. It was all like anime pictures and like reposted TikToks and videos, but one of
No, like
them,
personal info.
yeah, no personal info. And some of the videos were like centered around like dad, like how it feels knowing that you're no longer your dad's little girl or something. Like, it was several reposted videos about how things had changed and she was no longer daddy's little girl, and
Hmm.
just like weird, just weird. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
And
like
then
it.
I don't either. But so if that is the case, then maybe they weren't completely illiterate. They
Right.
just,
Well, yeah, that is a good point.
yeah, if they can make posts on social media, then. But then again, if you are that impoverished, is that the word I'm looking for?
It makes sense in my head.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
what you mean.
yeah. If you that po, if
If
you
you
that
that po,
po,
if you that po.
then why do you have phones? Why do you have internet access? And
Hmm.
if you're abusing, if you're neglecting and abusing your children like that, why are you allowing them away into the outside world?
Right.
Like, like
Why
if
would
you're
you allow
abusing and
them the
neglecting them,
freedom?
yeah, because then that goes, well, what if they say something?
Exactly.
Like, and zero evidence of this whatsoever, zero. But in my mind, it's like, what if it's some kind of weird sick thing where it wasn't the kids posting? What if it was
I could
like
see that.
Gary
Pretending to be
being
one of the kids.
and catfishing people?
Mhm. It could
Zero evidence, zero. This is my
none.
ADHD brain going, well, why would this happen? And that's the first, like, well, maybe that came to mind. You know what I mean?
This is a I watch too much true crime and dive into too many rabbit holes type of theory. But my
Yeah.
thing is like I would not be shocked if that
I would not either.
becomes
I
true
would not
because of
be.
just how insane all of this is.
Yeah.
You know? I did forget too. I don't know if you saw this. One more speculated ordeal. Um, when they were first arrested, a local Dollar General worker was interviewed, and she said that the Siders and all of the kids used to come into the DG and
Hmm.
they would buy mass amounts of vegetable oil. So it is being speculated because it was never food or anything. It is being speculated that they were only feeding the children vegetable oil. This is all alleged,
How,
but
how could you even survive on vegetable oil?
if that is the case, like it just if that happens to be true,
Yeah.
especially for the younger babies, it would just break my heart so much more
Yeah,
for those kids.
it really would.
Like seeing the pictures of the interior home, literally I
I
got
haven't
emotional
seen
over
any
it.
of I've seen like one picture that of the front door, but I've never seen any photos of the inside of the house.
So before we add them to the episode, I will send them to you. It's awful. I literally had an emotional response to it. Obviously, like we're moms,
Yeah,
and I just could not imagine, no matter what kind of headspace I was in, to have my child living in something like that, and then to think of like, is that true that they were only feeding them
vegetable
vegetable
oil.
oil? Like that is
And
awful.
and to that, look at Gary though. If you look at Gary Jr.,
He's
that man
chunky.
that man was not missing any meals.
No.
So why was he eating and his kids wasn't?
Right. If that is the case, and we obviously don't know what any of the kids look like either. We don't
No,
know. They were reportedly emaciated, or what's the word?
emaciated,
Emaciated. Yes.
emancipate. I thought you were trying to say emancipated.
No,
Close enough. I know what you meant.
emaciated.
Yeah,
Um, but like how emaciated? Because if it was bad enough, and that would make sense, because vegetable
yeah.
oil is only going to provide so many calories, and so
Well, not only that, could you imagine the negative health effects that would have?
oh, for
Like,
sure, and their little bellies, and
would
I
just be
just
would be swollen.
yeah,
They would literally look like the starving kids in Africa. And I
yes.
don't mean that in a bad way. Like I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
No, it's
Like
just
that's
that's a
third
kind of
world country.
emaciation.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's third world country situations and that's here.
Yeah. I just can't wrap my brain around it, and, depending on how this goes and what all does come out, I still think it's gonna be hard for especially anyone who's a parent, to be able to wrap your
Yeah.
head around this entire situation. It's just awful, and the kids being the most important piece of all of this, just I hope that they're okay. I
Yeah.
hope that they're being well cared for now that they are wards of the state.
Well, I
It
did see that they were all placed in therapeutic foster care. So they've all got
yes.
specialized foster parents that specialize in cases like
Yes.
this, which is a good thing. That's what they need.
It is. And hopefully, that they are doing exactly that for them, and being what those babies need right now,
Yeah.
because, especially if they've never known anything else,
Yeah,
they
if
need
if
it.
if that's all they've ever known, it's a whole new world for them.
Yeah, they need it. And I wish I could just
Hug them
hug
all.
every single one of
Yeah.
them. Like, it's about to make me cry again just thinking
Just
about
bring them
it.
to me. I'll take care of all of them. Just bring them to
I
me.
will love every single one of you without a
Yeah.
second thought.
Yeah.
And it just baffles me that that's grown adults could let this happen,
Yeah.
you know.
And maybe
So
too, I mean, they started when they were so young, the
maybe
15
they
and 18. Maybe
yeah,
they just didn't I mean, ignorance is not an excuse. It really isn't. But at the same time, how do you if you've never had a good role model and you've never had something to look up to, you didn't have a great childhood growing up. How do you know how to be a parent yourself? And you
yeah.
started when you were just a kid. You didn't even have a childhood because you started trying to be an adult before you was a teenager. You know what I mean?
Well, and if this was the normal that Gary knew, like that is all he has known and what was shown, this is okay. This is the way to live.
Yeah.
How would he know to do any different for his children? So that is a very valid point. It
Yeah.
it just it does, it makes you wonder, like, how much how far back are they going to go when building this
Yeah.
case to try to get those answers, you know?
Yeah.
Hopefully far enough, because I think at this point the world wants to know. The
I
world
think
wants to
we
know
need to
how
know.
this happened. Yes.
We need answers. How does
Yeah.
so, anywhere else in the world, and I'd be like, okay, but I mean, that doesn't happen here.
Yeah. Well, but this is the thing. It makes me wonder, because a lot of people on social media were commenting on a lot of the news articles saying, this is just a house that got caught. It makes you wonder, are there other homes and situations going on like this that we
Yep.
don't know about?
Yep.
It's a crazy thought.
Yeah.
So,
Which, and I had this written down in my notes because what, okay, because I am, I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. I really am. Like,
mhm,
I, government watches us, whatever,
yeah.
So I would, if I had the option and the means, I would want to live off grid.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if maybe there was some kind of that going on, like they wanted to be off the grid. They didn't want people to know about them. They didn't want their kids in school. They didn't want, you know what I mean? Like they were trying their best to live off the grid, but maybe didn't know how to do it.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I don't know. Something's just weird there. But I could understand not
Like the
wanting.
off grid
Yeah,
lifestyle.
I
Yeah.
could understand that, but I mean, let's be so for real. You gotta know what you're doing.
Right. Well, and then was there a nefarious motive behind wanting
What,
to
to
live
be
off
off
grid?
grid. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you hiding that
That you want that
you
lifestyle.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like a double-edged sword because I mean, if you want to live off the grid, yeah, but at the same time, why do you want to live off the grid? And have you ever heard of
Yeah.
the buggy test?
I have. I sure
I
have.
if we're gonna live off the grid, everybody needs to do the buggy
Everybody
test.
needs to do the buggy test, and only
And
the
if you,
ones that put them back
yep. And for
get to do
anybody
it.
that don't know what the buggy test is, it's the buggy test is the best example or the best test to see if a particular person or group of people can self-govern themselves. And
Mhm.
so, like if you go to the grocery store, you buy your groceries, you put them in the buggy and you bring them out to your car, you load them in the car. Do you take the buggy back and put it where it goes? Or do you just leave it out in the middle of the parking lot for somebody else to get later? Because there's no reward if you take it back. Nobody's going to
Yep.
say congratulations or thank you. You're not going to get a prize. Nothing happens if you take it back. But it's also the opposite is true. There's no
There's no
punishment. There's
consequences.
no consequences if you don't put it back.
Mhm.
It's just a moral it I used it. I should put it back where it goes because that's the right thing to do. The
Yep,
people
it's a
that put
matter
it
of
back,
integrity. Yeah.
that's right. The people that put it back, you can self govern. You have a moral compass that says, yes, you can do that. People just leave it in the parking lot. You know what I mean? They're going
Yeah.
to try to get away with whatever they can, whether somebody's watching or not. So
Yep.
we should all do the buggy test.
We should all do the buggy test.
We should.
We
And
should.
I swear to you, every time I go to the store, I will always put the buggy back because I think about that. I'm like, nah, if somebody's watching me, I'm gonna pass this
Oh, for
buggy
real.
test. I
I
swear.
honestly I think there has only been one time in my life that I did not put it, like, in the thing, but
Yeah.
I made damn sure, and it was only because Bub was having, like, a stage 22 meltdown,
Yeah.
and I made sure that it was not gonna run into any things. Like, I still had the moral,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'm gonna make sure this does not ram into any cars, that it's gonna be easy for the workers to grab, whatever," but
Yep.
that is a real thing. That is
Yeah.
a real thing.
I'm
So
telling you, I'll every time I'm gonna put it back because I'm like, yeah, y'all seeing this? I'm passing this
yes.
buggy test. Who's watching?
Yes. So, um, yeah, a very interesting case, a case that there's so many question marks left
Mm-hmm.
and will still be,
Yep.
gag orders and all the things. We're still not even to trial. There's competency in question now. So I think that it's going to be a long road, but
Mm-hmm.
we do plan to keep up with it as it all kind of unfolds. I thought it would be kind of fun to, like, as our little outro, to ask the audience, are there any specific cases that you guys would like to hear us kind of dive into and talk about? Because I think, I don't know, true crime's like trending. So when we do decide to do episodes related to it,
Yeah.
I don't know if they can tell, but I feel like you've loved doing this episode.
Oh yeah,
I
I'd
have loved
absolutely.
doing this episode. So if there's a specific case or situation, unsolved, whatever, that you guys want to hear us deep dive, drop it in the comments. Um yeah. I
I really I love this kind of stuff. I do.
I do too. And especially with this one, because I feel like there is a lot of conspiracy involved
There, yeah,
in
there's
this
something.
because
I don't
there's,
know what it
yeah.
is. And we're getting to watch it in real time. Every
Yes.
day you can open up the internet and see a new development or a new discovery or something. And so it's like, ooh, let me write that down.
Yeah. It feels like I'm back in, what years was it when the Casey Anthony
Oh
trial was
yeah.
happening? I feel like that all
Mm-hmm.
over again.
Yep.
Yeah. So I am. I'm looking forward to seeing kind of how it unfolds, and hopefully we can find other, stories to deep dive, because we
Yeah.
love this stuff. And on that note, it doesn't necessarily have to be true crime too. Like, if you guys want to hear us discuss and deep dive conspiracy theories, drop it in the comments.
So speaking on that, I found one that I want to do an episode on.
Okay. Say more.
Have you ever heard of something called Folk Valley?
No.
It's apparently it's a made up place, but there's a whole category of TikToks dedicated to Folk Valley, and they're the weirdest things, and I'm talking like weird. Like a woman's eating pancakes and then all of a sudden she melts into the pancake and then the cabinet behind her opens up and a man comes out of the cabinet and eats the pancake that's now her. Like it's the weirdest, creepiest stuff, and it all says Folk Valley. I want to know, what is Folk Valley? Where did it come from? What does it mean? Who came up with it? And why does everybody post the weirdest TikToks and label it as Folk Valley?
Well, I know what rabbit hole I'm going to go down tonight
Yeah,
when I can't sleep.
Yeah, go on TikTok and search up Folk Valley.
Folk
it's
Valley.
creepy. It's creepy. You look at
I
it and
know
you're like,
that
what am I looking at?
I know that I've seen the video you're talking about, the pancake one. I have watched
Yeah.
that one, but I never noticed the Folk
Yeah,
Valley
it's
thing
labeled
with it.
as Folk Valley, and I don't know what
Hmm.
it is or where it came from. Who started it? Is it an actual place? Like,
Is it
what
a
is it?
show? Is it a
Yeah,
movie?
like I've heard of Uncanny Valley, which is like it's where something resembles a human, but it's not quite right. So it triggers
Oh,
some
wait.
kind of weird something in the brain where it creeps people out. And they
Yes,
call
yes,
that
yes, yes.
Uncanny Valley. But what is Folk Valley?
What is Folk Valley?
What is Folk Valley? No idea.
Deep
But
dive?
that's a rabbit hole I want to go down. I saw that the other day and I was like, I have questions and I need to figure out why.
Yeah. Well, now I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah. So look for a future episode on Folk Valley.
Yes. What if we find something like absurdly weird and it becomes like a whole thing?
If it becomes a whole thing, I don't even know. I don't know. I mean, it would be great because I mean, I love stuff like that, but
Same. This was fun.
it was fun.
I loved this episode, and I feel
Yeah.
like it flowed so well.
Yeah, it really did.
It was hard because we don't really have like a lot of factual info, but even still,
Just discussing what it could be is
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff. Just
Same.
bouncing ideas off of each other.
Same.
And we won't tell everybody about our music rendition before we started.
Oh, that's getting turned into a reel.
Oh,
That's
God.
getting turned into a blooper reel.
It's a
ASAP.
blooper reel. Yeah.
Show is
Yeah, that was, I mean,
Yodel.
I'm just saying.
Yodel metal. I think I'm a new fan. I
I
think I'm a new
really
fan.
am. And the Viking dude, whoever that is, I am now a massive fan of him.
A Viking cover of It Smells Like Teen Spirit. You know what? I'm gonna add that to the credit video.
Yes, yeah.
That's
That's
gonna be the
gonna be
song.
credits.
Yep. Well, should we do we always forget to say an actual like, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Don't
And all
forget
the
to like,
things.
subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications and all the things. And if it's here somewhere, do it.
There.
This is our official outro. Click the buttons.
This
Click
is our
'em.
outro. Click the damn buttons. Click the buttons, and
That's a wrap.
that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a freaking wrap, folks. I have to pee so bad. I have to pee so bad.
It's going in the bloopers.